Yeah, I'm not even just saying this. I literally think I manifested this. Like, after I saw you at Simi and Hayes' house, so that was a couple months ago. And then a few weeks ago, I was talking to my social media girl randomly. We were just talking about a bunch of stuff and just kind of what I would love to represent, just talking about a new chapter for me and whatever. And she was like, who would you really want to like talk to or whatever? And I was like, it'd be so cool to talk to Jay. And she was like, that would be really cool. And then we kind of that was kind of the thought and whatever. And then you hit me and I was like, no freaking way he's hitting me right now. So I was like, absolutely. This is like perfect. It's the universe just putting it in perfect timing because
that makes me so happy because it was exactly the opposite way. So I've for a long time had people that I'd love to sit down with. And every time I saw you do something with mental health and Vogue or any of the segments that you ever did, I was just like, she's amazing. Like, you know, it's incredible the way you were talking about it when you'd post about it. I'd be like, oh, this is incredible. Like to see you speaking so openly about it and vulnerably about it. And so I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And then, but we've never really crossed paths.
Right.
And so I'm always just a bit like, and I don't like asking friends of friends when I haven't met someone. And so I was like, that day I had to like pluck up the courage and be like, look, I'm just going to ask her myself.
No,
because it's easier when I ask direct. And I know Christy. So
yeah.
But I was like, it's nicer when I told my team too, I was like, it's so much nicer when there's like a personal connection.
For sure.
And someone really feels comfortable rather than it's like a PR thing.
No, it was so perfect. Like when I think back to it, I'm like, that was me just trusting the universe and not pushing for anything. And I knew it was going to kind of happen when it was supposed to. And it literally did.
And it did,
so you felt it too.
Yeah, I did. That means the world to me. Yeah. Right. And I hope that this is the start of spending more time together. Genuinely.
Me too.
Yeah, off camera too.
I would love that. Cause like, I think also, I don't know, like I admire people like you. I admire like, you know, the Michael Pollan's and Michael Singers and Wim Hofs of the world. And I feel like you fit in that category for me of just people that are, because, you know, I know a little bit about your story. I'd like to actually know more, which would be really cool to actually, I know we're obviously not here for that exactly. But for me, just personally, like I'd love to know more of your story. I know that you've had quite the experiences and I think that's so cool. I'm like so intrigued by people with just that amount of curiosity and like determination and patience. Like that takes so much patience to be like you or like any of those people that I just listed. It's so cool to me. And I wish for myself, but I'm working on it.
No, so. You're that curious too. You're that curious. I
am. It's just, you know, that level of, like I said, patience and determination is like, it's a gift. Like that is like a really, really amazing gift. And like I said, like I'm just working on it all the time. And that's my goal in life, I guess.
Well, I think I feel the same way about you again, and by the way, I love all those people you just mentioned too. So feel very honored to be put into that group of people. And we've had Wim on the podcast before too. So he's been a guest. But with you, I feel the same way back when it's like, when you see someone who is so curious, who could get away with not worrying about these things if you don't want to, but then still being courageous enough to talk about these things and then using your platform as a space to open up these dialogues. Like that is as, if not more important as well as doing the work and doing the path.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can see you doing the work. It's fun watching you do the work and figuring it out.
I love working on myself. Like it is actually like a passion of mine. And like, I find so much comfort and joy in like actually finding where I think I could better myself and being like, even if it's physical as in like my physical health or working out, or I just started doing, speaking of Wim Hof, I just started doing like cold plunges and ice baths. And like, even if I don't have the time to go outside, I just got a cold plunge. I did it right before I got here. It's the best thing ever.
I did it this weekend.
So, again, it takes so much mental, the whole thing of it is all mental. So I don't know, just stuff like that I really love. So I'm always trying to just be the best version of me. And so I just love that. It like actually makes me feel really good. I love self-care and I just love stuff like that. So it's been really cool, but it's cool for you to say that you enjoy seeing that from me, because there's always been kind of this weird part of it for me where I'm like, is this a pity party? Because I don't want it to be. Like I want this to feel very positive. I want to connect with people. And I guess that is my goal there, is to be like, there actually is this side of me that you may not know of. But the goal here is to connect and also not feel like I'm throwing some pity party for myself, because I want this to be a learning experience for everyone. I want this to be really positive and really, really well received. I want you to look at it and actually have a positive feeling towards it. So I don't know, you'll find like if I, when I do kind of post about something or when I want to talk about something, I'm usually sharing a tip or like sharing kind of like a little technique, even if it's something so simple as like walking outside, taking a few deep breaths and journaling. Like it's just that kind of stuff that I really like to share, because I feel like I want to be helpful more than anything.
Absolutely. And that's at least how I see it. Like I see it not completely, not as a pity party at all, but so much more as just, hey, here's a reminder, or here's something that I did. And I feel like that positivity shines through too in the way you do it. So at least if that helps, whatever that's worth from the outside, it definitely comes across that way.
Cool.
And this has easily been the warmest introduction to a flow of a conversation I've ever experienced in my entire life. I
was actually really nervous coming in here because this means so much to me. Like, and I'm serious because, I've done a lot of interviews in my life, and when thinking about this one or thinking about that I even wanted to do something like this, it means a lot to me. And so it made me a little nervous. And I was like, I just want to get this right. This isn't like, me going out and promoting something or talking about something. This is, something very real that we all experience, which is just, ourselves and our well-being and just everything. So
and this is a, for me genuinely, and I really do mean this, like the podcast has been a great excuse, or really from my side an intention to get to know people I really admire. And so for me it's been a great way of building new friendships and relationships, because if you can sit and talk to someone and really get along with each other, you're like, oh, we should do this more often. And so
I'm honored.
So for me it's definitely been that. And to me, you saying that and taking it as intentionally as you are, it's for me it's as important. I always share this before we start recording usually, but we just flowed. Hey everyone, welcome back to On Purpose, the #1 health podcast in the world. Thanks to each and every single one of you that come back every week to listen, learn, and grow. Now, it's very rare that I get to sit down with someone that I have admired for a very long time from afar, someone that I believe has inspired me through the sharing of their story, someone who speaks so vulnerably and openly about the things that I most care about: mental health, purpose, the journey of life and discovery and curiosity. And what I want to share about this person is when I bumped into them at a mutual friend's birthday party, and I just want to give a big shout out to Simeon Hayes, because this wouldn't happen without them. I love you, Simeon Hayes. You've been amazing guests on the podcast before as well. I wouldn't have bumped into this individual and had this opportunity to reach out to them. And as soon as I reached out, this has been the most flowing conversation and connection that I've possibly had on the podcast, to be honest. So I just want to put that out. I'm speaking about the one and only, someone who needs no introduction, but successful business founder, international supermodel, founder of the incredibly successful Tequila brand 818, and star on the Hulu's The Kardashians, which premieres in second season on September 22nd. The one and only Kendall Jenner. Kendall, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. That was a wonderful introduction.
Oh, well, it's honestly been such an honor getting to know someone who, it's very rare that I find someone who functions with very similar values in a personal connection sense. So when I reached out to you, I really meant everything I said, and I could have written you an essay, but I was like, let's spare her the details. And then to get your response, and then for us to be here within a couple of weeks of connecting. And even your message this morning, I just want people to know, I was like, the text you sent me this morning, I was like, this never happens. Like, I was like, this is amazing. And I was like, and I was literally going to do the same thing. And so to me, I was like, this is very rare. And so I love the synergy and the flow that we're experiencing. And
me too.
I'm excited to get into it now.
It's funny because I called Hayes before the other day, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm going on your friend's show and whatever. And she was like, he's the best. You're just going to flow right into it. He's so easy to talk to. And that's literally what happened. And like I told you, I just feel like I manifested this moment for both of us and for this whole experience. And so I am really happy to be here. And I'm honestly honored. Like I said, I admire you, and there's so many people like you that I admire. So I think sitting down here with you is just so cool for me, and I get to talk about fun things with you.
Amazing. First of many. And I wanted to start with, because I always like to start with just things that I've seen more recently. A couple of days ago, I think you posted a beautiful picture of you hugging your horse. And you were like, like snuggle time or something like that. And I was just like, when did horses become a part of your life, and how did you get so close to them?
I think I've spent many lifetimes with horses. I think this is one of many lifetimes that I've had. I grew up in a horse community. So where we grew up, horses everywhere, more trails than there were homes, really. And so I was always around horses, and I just was deeply in love with them. And I have no explanation. And that's why I say I feel like in past lives I have just been around horses. Yeah, so since I was a really young kid, loved them and continue to love them my whole life. They're just the best. They're the most majestic and gorgeous and spiritual. They feel everything. I just it's such an honor to be in their presence and to be able to do what I can do with my horse. I find so magical that I can stand in her stall with her and just vibe out with her. I sometimes come to get a little teary-eyed when I'm standing in my stall with her, because I'm like, this is so cool that you allow me to do this and we have this connection without any words. It's just the best thing ever. So I love them.
Yeah, that's so special. I have a different teary-eyed story with horses, but I'll tell you the short version. So when I proposed to my wife, who I can't wait to introduce you to, when I proposed to her, which was 8 years ago or something like that, when I proposed to her, I organized what I would consider a very Hollywood proposal. It was too over the top, and I would do it totally different today with everything I've learned.
Happens.
But yeah, it happens. And so we were walking by the Thames in London, which is where we're both born and raised. And this a cappella group jumps out and they're singing Bruno Mars. And then they give her a bouquet of flowers. And then I get down on one knee, I propose. We have dinner by the river, and then we walk around the corner, and there's a horse-driven carriage to take us around, to take us around London. And so we're on this carriage. We have this beautiful path through London, and then we get into the train to get back home to her parents to tell them, and they already knew. She's got hives all over her face.
No
and
way.
All over
she
her
was
arms.
Allergic?
She's allergic to horses. And I found out the day I proposed to her. I was like, all right. So then she had tears. And when we got back, her parents were like, what did you do to her?
At least you got to enjoy the moment.
At least you got to enjoy the
Yeah,
it wasn't until afterwards. But no, I love
sorry
horses.
To hear that.
No, I love horses the same way you do. I used to go to India a lot when I was a kid. And that's where I first learned to be with horses. And
they're so therapeutic.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's a reason there's equine therapy. It's the best. But
exactly.
Yeah, they make me when I'm with her. I have a few, but I'm mostly with one of my horses right now because her name's Delandra. I didn't name her. She came with her name, but I call her Dylan or Dill. I love her so much, but when I'm with her, I genuinely, I spoke about how I've just loved horses my whole life. I feel like a kid around her. I feel like my 12-year-old self that would get up every morning throughout the entire summer at 8 a.m. to go just be at my trainer's facility, and I would stay there from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'd ride all her horses. I'd groom all her horses. I would just sit in the stalls with all the horses. Anytime I'm with her, I just have that sense of being a child again, and it's a really, really good feeling.
Yeah,
so
animals have that special ability, don't they?
They're so awesome.
Whichever animal you're attracted to, and I never thought I would, but when I lived as a monk, the animal that's revered in India is cows. And you would never think of cows being majestic or, in that way, especially when you're not in India. But the cows in India have these lotus-like eyes. The eyes are just absolutely
gorgeous.
Stunning. Yeah. And they're so special, and they're such gentle animals. Yeah. And recently, Radhi and I went trekking with gorillas in Rwanda. And gorillas are we have to go.
That sounds unreal.
It was unbelievable. And they're the animal that's revered in Rwanda. So whenever they have a new gorilla that's born, they have a naming ceremony with the community.
I love that.
It's so beautiful. And then I heard somewhere that your first job was you were a dog walker.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking do you have any lessons or anything you learned by being a dog walker? I think first jobs are so interesting.
Yeah. No, I was always a super disciplined child, meaning to I would put myself to bed at 7 p.m., my mom would be playing with me and my little sister and be like, Mom, it's 7, I gotta go to sleep. It's time for my bedtime. She'd be like, are you okay? And so I was always that kid. And so I think I just was always really eager to work. I don't know why. I just wanted to always have something to do, something that I felt passionate about that I really enjoyed. And so, when I was young, I put some flyers around our community and said I would walk dogs. And I ended up getting people that would let me have their dog for a few hours and take it for a walk. So I loved animals and I liked having something to do. So I was a kid that liked to be by myself with animals. So I think that was a cool very fitting thing for me because I got to be by myself walking, but then also experience all these little dogs with me. So.
Yeah, I wish I did that. I used to deliver newspapers. So that was my first job. And it's not as glamorous in London because it's raining.
Was that what you were desiring, or was
No,
that
I was
more
just 14 years old and wanted to make some money.
You're just like, I need
I need to make some money.
Right?
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to start doing this. And you don't get to, you'd see it in the movies where the paper boy just like chucks the paper at the door, but I'd have to actually go and put it inside. So my only interaction with dogs is they were on the inside grabbing the paper.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Like barking at you.
Yeah, they're barking and stuff. But I always love knowing about people's first jobs and how things started for them because of, obviously where you are today.